Hello guys, in this video I'm gonna show you how to make a SWOT combat system with Playmaker and Unity. In the end of the video, we will be making something like this. Let's get started. First, I'll start by creating a plane as a ground for my player. Then you can get this third-person controller from Asset Store for free. After downloading it, just import it to Unity. Place the third-person controller prefab on your scene, and now you have a basic third-person controller like this. Now select the prefab, add components, type FSM and add Playmaker FSM to that prefab. I'll rename the FSM as SWOT Combat System. You can rename it anything, that doesn't matter. Okay, now what is an FSM? An FSM is a finite state machine, which means a game object can have finite number of states. A state is like a logic for our game object, and the game object can have only one state at a time. For example, let's consider a bulb as a game object. A bulb has two states, on and off. The bulb can only be at one state at a time, either on or off. Now double click on the state editor to open Action Browser and search for Get Mouse Button Down and make sure that it is selected to left button. This action checks whether the player is clicking his left mouse button or not. If the player is clicking the left mouse button, we need to send that message to another event to perform certain logic. Here we don't have any, so I'll create a new event and add that event to our state by simply clicking the error message. Now we need to create a new state to perform a logic respective to our event's result. You can create a new state by control left click, or you can simply add one by right clicking and add state. Okay, now let's check if our FSM works. You can see that if I click my left mouse button, the state changes. But we need to get back to the previous state if I'm not clicking the left mouse button. So in the second state, I open the action browser and search for get mouse button up. Mouse button up basically checks whether if you are releasing your finger from clicking the left mouse button. Here, create a new event, name it anything you want, and make a transition back to the previous state. And now if I click my left mouse button, it goes to a new state, and if I stop clicking, it comes back to the previous state. Now open the Animator controller of your player. You can find that under Animator component of your player controller. The Animator controller that we got has three layers. Make sure that you are on the base layer. Now under the parameters, click the plus icon to add a new parameter. I name it as attack. Now just drag and drop your attack animation on the editor panel. If you don't have any animations, you can download it from Mixamo and make sure your animation is set to humanoid. Now right click on your idle animation and add a transition to the attack animation. Add another transition from locomotion to your attack animation. Now select the transition line. Under the condition, select the bool value attack that we have created, and if attack is true, we need to perform the transition. So make sure that true is selected. Then make sure that has exit time is unchecked, because if it is checked, it will completely play the idle animation and then it will transition to attack animation. We don't need that behavior. We need to play the attack animation as fast as we click the mouse button. So uncheck that. Repeat the same for the transition line from the locomotion also. Now we need to transition back to the original state after the attack animation is played. So make a transition from attack animation to idle animation, and under the condition select our bool value attack and make sure that it is selected to false. This time has exit time must be true because we need to completely play the attack animation and then transition back to the idle state. Now go back to our Playmaker FSM and add set animator bool on the second state and make sure parameter is set to attack. The parameter must be spelled correctly as we have created in the animator controller. Otherwise it won't work. Now check the value to true and check every frame to true. After that, copy the same action and paste it in the state 1. This time the value must be unchecked. You can see that if I click my left mouse button, the event will transition to state 2, and as the animator bool is set to true, the attack animation starts. When it comes back to state 1, the attack animation is set to false and the animation stops. Here we got only one animation, but we need to make combo attacks when I click multiple times like this. So now go back to your animator controller and drop all of your attack animations on the editor panel and add transition line from one action to another like this. After that, under the transition line, uncheck the has exit time and add condition. If attack is true, then we need to transition. Repeat this for all lines. Now add a transition line back to the idle animation from each attack animation and add a condition. If attack is false, go to idle state and don't uncheck the has exit time this time. Now you can see that we have made a combo attack system. We have created the attack system. Now we need a sword for our player. If you already have a 3D model of it, then just use it. But I'm using a cube to make one for now. After importing your 3D model, select your character skeleton. Under the skeleton, go to hips, spline 1, right shoulder, right arm, right forearm, right hand, and under the right hand, select the first skeleton and drag and drop your 3D model under it after placing it in the right place. Now you can see that the sword is attached to the player. I hope everything works fine. If you have any problems on setting things up, ask it in the comment section. In the next video, I will show you how to make an NPC enemy that patrols and attacks you when you are in a certain range. Thank you guys.